Medicine in the public interest. Good morning again, sir. So nice to see you. We've seen recalls of formula before, but this is really a perfect storm because at the same time, you already had a really tangled supply chain. Tell us what's happening here and who's responsible.
You know, that's a great question because it really isn't a supply chain issue like we've been talking about gasoline and other things. This is a supply chain issue because the baby formula business is a consolidated industry. There really aren't a lot of players here. So when you take one major player out, in this case, Abbott, not surprisingly, you have shortages. Who's to blame? I think the blame is placed squarely on Abbott, which is the company. The FDA inspected their facility. It was unsafe and it had to be shut down. So people who are saying the FDA shut down a factory and they shouldn't have are wrong. This factory should have been shut down. The only thing worse than a shortage of baby formula is baby formula that isn't safe or substandard. The FDA is working 24/7 with Abbott. That plant is coming back online. But there were mistakes made. The FDA had to help get them fixed where we are struggling. And the problem was that parents weren't given fair warning to prepare.
So, Peter, then is this an area where the Defense Production Act could help? It's something obviously we saw a lot during the early days of COVID, trying to help, the industry sort of fill the gaps here. The White House doesn't seem to want to do it right now. Why not?
Well, because it wouldn't work. And you simply can't push a button and say produce more baby formula. That's already been done. One of the first things the FDA did when they took the Abbott plant offline was talk to all the other baby food manufacturers and say, listen, you've really got to ramp up production of baby formula. And they did that, which is why we're not in even a worse place. But, baby formula, even though it sounds like a basic product that's been around for a long time, which it is a very complicated product. You can't simply go to a milk company, for example, and say, start making baby formula. That's not the way it works. These have to be made in special plants with very, very specific regulations so that it's safe and effective.
And it's really domestic production that the U.S. relies on, right? Because the idea here is that you want to keep control of something so important as baby formula.
A lot of people are going to Europe because they need
Could we find a way to import this product from somewhere else? Would that help?
Well, the first thing to mention is I think about 95% of baby formula that's used in the U.S. is manufactured in the U.S. So this isn't a question of let's bring it home. But Abbott, for example, has a FDA-approved facility in Ireland, and they are bringing in product from there. The FDA is also talking to people in Canada, but of course you can't drain other countries of their baby formula so that we can have it here in the U.S. And there isn't an overabundance. There aren't warehouses stocked full of baby formula waiting to be used. But we are talking to other regulatory agencies that could, theoretically ship product here. But Abbott's being a good partner to try to help solve that problem.
Peter, we're wondering, is some of this consumer behavior too? I mean, as soon as something as important as baby formula, you hear that there are shortages, then you go and try to get as much as you can. I mean, I heard one woman who said, I only have a 4 or 5 week supply of baby formula. And I thought, I don't think I ever had a 2 week supply of formula. You know what I mean? I mean, is there some consumer behavior that people are reaching forward and trying to make sure that their own closets are full of this stuff in case there's a bigger problem?
Of course. And again, it goes back to communications. I think obviously when the FDA initially shut this plant down, there was some press coverage. It wasn't really considered that important a story as opposed to where we are right now. Had parents been alerted that this was coming down the pike, they could have prepared. They could have laid in a bigger supply. They could have been prepared. When all of a sudden you walk into the store and the shelves are empty, people panic. And as you know, if you have an infant, you're already kind of on the razor's edge in a number of different ways. So I think that a better communications program could have gotten the job done. And this is indicative of a bigger problem because there are other products in the FDA portfolio of regulation that are also consolidated where only a few manufacturers make them, where one goes down because of a safety problem or a storm or a terrorist attack or an earthquake. The FDA needs a plan in place to address these types of things. There has to be a plan B other than hang in there and wait.
That's really good about, and I don't mean to blame parents, by the way.
We're on a razor's edge.
I know, I get it. Peter Pitts, a former FDA Associate Commissioner, thank you. And you will be on a razor's edge again soon.
I'm already on a razor's edge.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
All right, to